Hey guys, so I had already filmed my February reading wrap up and then decided to do something completely different. Because I have been doing weekly reading vlogs, I feel like I've kind of talked about all the books that I read in February already. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to list all the books that I read in February, and I'm going to end with my favorite books of the month. These are the ones that I feel like everyone should read and I want to rave about a little bit. So I'll kind of go into those ones a little more and we'll just skim over the other ones. And then I will talk a little bit about the goals that I had made for the year, like my monthly goals, and whether or not I hit any of them this month. So let's just get started. My first book for the month was Scythe. This one I still don't know how I feel about it, and it's been a month since I read it. I think I gave it like 3 or 4 stars. It's interesting, but I feel like I need to finish the series before I can give full thoughts. Yeah, so that was book 1. The next book I read was Book Love. This is a cute little comic book that I got out from the library and I had to return it already, but you can check out my reading vlog for little snippets of it. I loved it and I gave that one 5 stars. And I kind of raved about it a lot in my vlog already, so I won't say anything more about that one. The next one was Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. This one is book 6 of the series out of 7, and I thought it was okay. I gave it 4 stars, but it wasn't my favorite out of the series. But obviously it was pretty good. Next I read Agatha Christie's 5 Little Pigs. This one was one of my least favorite out of hers that I've read so far. I give this one 3 stars. Then I listened to an audiobook, Salt to the Sea by Ruta Sepetys, and I quite enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars, and made me interested in reading more Ruta Sepetys books. Then I read another Agatha Christie book, Curtain. This one was pretty good. I give this one 4.5 stars. Actually, that's not true. I think I gave it 3.5 stars. Hercule Poirot is just not my favorite out of her detectives. So it was a good book, but I'm interested in reading more of her other works that do not follow Poirot. Then because I enjoyed Book Love so much, I got out another book by the same author, Quiet Girl in a Noisy World, and I gave that one 3 stars. It was not as much about the introverts as I thought, and more like a memoir. Next up was The Martian. This was my pick for the Read Your Bookshelf Challenge, a book that is also a movie. And other than the swear words, which I was not a fan of, the book itself was very interesting and I gave it 4 stars. Next up was Beartown. This is a book that I thought I was going to give 5 stars to, and I ended up DNFing and giving 0 stars to. I gave it 1 star on Goodreads because you can't give 0 stars. But yeah, you can check out my vlog for more thoughts on that, but very disappointed in that book. Next up was also a disappointment, but not that big of a disappointment. It was Rebecca. I gave this one 3 stars. I thought I was going to love it, and I didn't enjoy it until the last 100 pages or so. Or enjoy is maybe not the right word, interested in it maybe until the last 100 pages. Okay, so those are the books that I read that I don't want to rave about, and then I have 5 books that I do want to rave about. 2 of them are the first 2 books in a series, and 1 is the 3rd book in a series, so I'll start with that one. And it was Cry of the Raven by Morgan L. Boozy. Now this was a spectacular finish to a trilogy. I feel like maybe she implied that there might be a spin-off series coming up in the future, judging by a few things at the end. And if she wasn't implying that, I hope that I should just tell her she was implying that and she needs to start it, because the Mark of the Raven series is one of my favorite fantasy series that I've read. And I mean, I haven't read a ton, but it's kind of what got me into fantasy last year. So I read the first one, Mark of the Raven, and I gave it 5 stars. The second one is Flight of the Raven. I gave that one 4 stars. And then Cry of the Raven, I gave 5 stars. And yeah, it's so different than a lot of Christian fiction that I have read. And I mean, I haven't read a lot of Christian fantasy, but I love her writing and I'm excited to see what else she comes up with. Then another series that I really enjoyed this month was the Delusion series. So I read The Delusion and The Deception, and I gave this one 5 stars, and I think this one 4.5. This one follows a boy who can see the spiritual world, I guess, and he's, I think, in his final year of high school in this one, and then first year after high school in this one. and there's at least going to be a third book in the series, and I'm excited to continue reading it. It definitely reminds me a little bit of like Frank Peretti's writing, and James L. Rubart, and a little Ted Dekker kind of thrown in there. And I think that every high school student should read these books. They are on my to-buy list from now on. I'll be looking for those. And then, this is actually the very first book that I read of the month, was Brandon Sanderson's Skyward, and I loved it so much that I went out and I bought Starsight, and I have to look for a copy of Skyward as well. So this is a young adult sci-fi series, which I think maybe helps. Like, I came into it with very low expectations because those are not buzzwords for me, and I loved it so much. The main character in here, Spensa, has so much personality. I don't know if I would like her as like an actual person. Like, I don't think I'd be friends with her, but man, was she fun to read. So in this world, I guess, this group of people lives on this planet, and they have these pilots who are like the most revered kind of people. And Spensa, her father, has been deemed kind of as a coward, and she wants to become a pilot so she can kind of, you know, gain some respect for her family again. So that's kind of where the first book goes, and the second book follows her as she kind of goes on to another adventure, which I can't talk about because it gives away too much. But yeah, I think this is supposed to be a 4-part series, and I can't wait for Brandon Sanderson to hurry up and finish writing it. So yeah, my reading month was all over the place. I had like everything from 0 stars to like 5+ stars, if that's a thing. And then just everything in between. I did some audiobooks, some physical books, and yeah, it was a really good reading month. So I had a couple of reading goals for myself for the year. One of them was to read a tome each month, which is like a book that is 500 pages or more. And I know that the Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince was over 500 pages. And I wouldn't be surprised if Sanderson's were as well. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, just over. And not quite. So I got 2 tomes in this month. And then I had some other reading goals. I wanted to do my bookshelf, read your bookshelf challenge. So I've done 2 months so far. I read a book that was also a movie. And then I also wanted to read some middle grade. Over the course of the year, I wanted to read 12 middle grade books. And I didn't read any this month, but I know I read a couple last month, and I've already read a number in March. So I didn't read any for that this month, but I know I will have some coming up, so I'm not worried about that. So overall, February was a great reading month, and I'm excited to see what March brings and the rest of the year. If you have any book suggestions on what you think that I might enjoy or what I should try out next, I would love to hear them. I would love to hear what you're reading, and yeah, just leave a comment below and let's chat some books.